Good evening. My name is Sherin Mercer. I am honored to be one of the chairs for Life Savers Ball. I think it was a lot easier for me to tell this story behind a camera than to possibly dry heave in front of 600 people tonight. Cancer has sort of been a passenger in my life story for as long as I can remember. About 25 years ago, my aunt, who was in her 50s at the time, was diagnosed with breast cancer. At the time, it was far gone, and she only lived a few months after her diagnosis. Soon after that, my mom found a lump in her breast, and she was only in her 40s at the time. This also was breast cancer. I was in college at the time, and as you can imagine, it was very hard to watch your mom go through chemo and radiation. But she did great, and she went through a full cure. Life settled down for a few years after that, and we received word that my cousin, who was in her 30s then, was diagnosed with breast cancer also. Time went on for many years, and to fast track this, my aunt and then 3 more first cousins were diagnosed with breast cancer, and one of those cousins also had ovarian cancer. That makes 7 family members with breast cancer, 1 with ovarian cancer. So the writing was sort of on the wall for me. It was something I had been thinking about heavily during these times. At the age of 39, I decided it was time to be proactive, and so I went to see my doctor and I got tested for the breast cancer genes. These are called BRCA genes. After 2 weeks of seeing my doctor, I received that phone call. I think you know that phone call, that the tone, just by the tone, you know what the results are going to be. I did test positive for BRCA2. That meant that my risks of breast cancer went up extensively, even up to 80%, and my risks of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, also went up heavily. They gave me lots of options. I knew at the time what I was going to do. I had 2 young boys. I talked this heavily with my doctors and my family, and at 39 I opted for a bilateral mastectomy and a hysterectomy, and it was a decision I have never looked back on. And I have a lot of options, and those are not, what I chose was not necessarily for everybody, but it was right for me. During that time, my mom started experiencing a significant amount of pain in her arm. The pain got worse. She underwent a lot of testing, and this time she was diagnosed with a whole different cancer. This one was a sarcoma. 2 years ago this month, my mom lost the battle with sarcoma. We have a tremendous facility in our backyard that strives to produce research to help hopefully eventually cure as many cancers as we can. Tonight is about honoring the lives of those who have fought and have survived, and it's also about honoring those who came before us and fought the good fight.